Welcome back to another Sunday stream. And I'm hoping my chat works because for some reason in one spot the messages show up, in another they do not. So I'm trying to get that working. But welcome in, Lottie's Galaxy, Prism, and my god. Mave, welcome in! I am so EP today. I say that. I think every stream I'm like, wow, I'm real EP, and then I kind of like gain my energy during the stream. I feel like that is consistently what ends up happening on these fair Sundays. Oh my goodness. Alright, I'm mixing up things a little bit this week before we dive into the tier list, which may mean that the tier list gets done in 2 weeks instead of 1. I want to go over the news. We have plenty of magical news for the month so far. 2 weeks about news has been accrued, and I want to kind of yap about it as we roll into it. As well as, obviously, we got feelings. People got feelings about the new episode. So, obviously, if you want to throw any theories out, I'm never going to stop some good old-fashioned theory crafting. Oh, the other thing I wanted to try to do was add background music to the stream. We'll see how well that goes over. I'm gonna try it. This is going to be a move that I'm making, but we will see if this is the play. I'll put the music on, and it should be real quiet. Let me know if you guys are hearing the music at all. Have it very low. It should be piano keys. I am doing well. I am tired, and it might be a not ridiculously long stream because I do need to run errands, but I'm also waiting for the weather to be less bad to run said errands. But, we'll see how long. I'm probably not more than 2 hours, but we shall see. We shall see. I can finally be here. Welcome in, John! How are you today? Oh my god, that might be... I don't know if I have it in the folder I downloaded. I can try to send it over. John did 2 amazing artworks of my characters, which I have one of them on my desktop. I don't know where the other one, which folder I put in there. I over-organize my stuff. I can just re-grab that, and then I will transfer those. We'll talk about that. Yeah, first order of business, we have this cute little Pochiton from the Amazon listings. Precure, I don't think they fully updated the Amazon, because every time you go to Amazon JP and you go to their Precure section, it's still Delicious Party for some reason, but somewhere embedded in there is the You and Idol stuff. And I'm like, I do not understand why the Amazon navigation is so bad for Precure. It's been that way since Delicious Party, by the way. And I've been like, sometimes your girl just wants to get the infos. And I want to see the merchandise in full. And you have to like, you basically have to put the name in instead of being able to click links, and that bugs me. Alright. Let me grab these artworks. And then also, let's see. I will grab one of the first pieces we were going to talk about today. Got a whole folder of a lot going on. Oh, we had One Fest the past weekend, and so we got Magical Girl announcements, but thank god I waited to talk about some of them, because some of the best ones I think got announced after One Fest. Kotobukiya released theirs this past weekish, and they had way better stuff than the One Fest options had. But some of the Magical Girly stuff that came in, we've got this Nindoroid of Mami for the new movie upcoming with her alternate form. We also had a Madoka one previously, but we get this nice Mami one. And so, loving the fact that we're getting these for all the girls. And I'm liking that they're the basic ones, because that means they're going to be cheaper, and I have so many Madoka Nindoroids. I don't need them to be too complex. Welcome in, Bread Clone, how are you today? And FNAF, how are you doing today as well? Glad to see you all. I noticed that because I usually watch Leo's episode videos after watching it on my own. He says a lot of things that were there that I didn't notice. When we watched the episode together, both of us were like, hey, this was a cool thing that happened in the episode, and the other person would be like, wait, when did that happen? The 2 of us, like, missed everything, and we just had to, like, compensate for each other. Inability to pay attention. Download that file, download this file. But yes, I'm glad that they're doing the Walpurgis Nacht forms. I think I'm most excited for Kyoko's, though. I think Kyoko has the most interesting outfit change, in my opinion. Obviously, Sayaka's pretty cool because she got the bandages. Other figure updates. They announced this before One Fest, but Cardcaptor Sakura got these ones, which are... They haven't done... I think they call it something different, but they used to call them petites, where I don't think they're posable. They're just a set of, like, cute, tiny figures that you can get for a smaller price, and you get all 6 of them. Because they did this for... I had the Vocaloid set 1 and set 2. But they already announced this prior to One Fest, but it's exciting to see a little Cardcaptor Sakura love. She got a lot of love this One Fest in terms of good smile stuff. What'd I miss? Nothing! We just started, Lexus. Welcome in. Hope you had a good Valentine's Day. I did. Valentine's Day is actually my mom's birthday, so most of the time Valentine's Day ends up being the mom day. So I did a lot of stuff with my mom for Valentine's Day. Welcome in, Leo. How are you? Yeah, I don't get why the brain can't concentrate with Star Detective. So much is going on. They really are, like, I love that they probably do this for every season, and there's stuff that I miss, because you see me yap in the videos, and I'd be wrong all the time. But, I feel like there's so many details in Star Detective that I'm like, I treat it like I'm doing an exam in high school again, where I'm like, I must take a comb and go through every singular thing that happens, because this could be the big hint. This could be the big hint. Oh! Kiro, I'm sorry to hear you are unwell. I send you feel better beam. You gotta feel better. Welcome in, Liza! What are your thoughts on the Phantom Thieves so far? I love them. I think they're very fun villains. I feel like they're just... We've gone back to our roots of, like, traditional Precure villains. Or at least, like... It's maybe not fully the roots, because I think the villains just were, like, bad dudes in the earlier seasons, but my golden era would be kind of, like, the heart catch villains, and the sweet villains, and the smile villains. Like, that's, to me, like, the antithesis of a villain for Precure, and I'm glad that these guys are shaping up to be that. They're quirky and, like, silly to each other, and we see them all together instead of it just, like, only 2-on-2 interact with each other. I'm really happy with it. I love the theater. The villain theater is very entertaining to me. I also call Valentine's Day getting free chocolates true. Today, though, is now the 15th, where we get all the discounted chocolate. Which, when I'm out and about, I might grab some chocolate and see if there's any good discounts. It just came out of nowhere. It was fun this morning. Oh my god. It is the season, though, if you're not careful, where you get a little dehydrated. You gotta hit yourself with a humidifier in the middle of the night so your throats don't get dried. I have managed this year to not get my seasonal cold, and I'm really hoping I don't jinx that. Because every year, I get an incredibly dry throat, and then, like, all of me dies. But I must say, I love Luluka. Even if she appears for like 1 minute in the episode, she was great. She was there for 2.5 seconds, and she stole the show. I do love Arcana Shadow. She's fantastic. I want chocolate. Tis the season. Tis the season to get free chocolate. Or not really free chocolate, but discount chocolate. Other thing that debuted, not part of One Fest, but I think right before One Fest hit, we had the Himitsu no Ako compact. Ended up going up as the next special memorize, which is very, very exciting to see this make it on the list, because it's such an old show. I think now this is officially the oldest one that we've gotten merch for, because I don't think we've gotten Mahotsukai Sally. But hey guys, we're getting ancient Magical Girl merch, because I think Minky Momo was the oldest one we had prior to this, if I am not mistaken. But I like that the special memorize is really getting a lot of the oldie goldies. It makes me so happy that we're getting all these Magical Girl love, all these old props. I hope that they also do the Full Moon Wosagashite music box. I got the Korean one of that, but I'd love to see that as part of the special memorize. I feel like that would be a good one to do. I found out that the possible big boss is voiced by Shutsvie. Oh, is he? I know people were name-dropping his voice actor, but I didn't know what his resume was. That's very impressive. And I think someone else, the Gyaru was one of the fairies in Doki Doki, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm remembering all of the information, we got so much info yesterday. Oh, we got so much lore. Every week we get so much lore. We're only 3 episodes in and I feel like I'm drowning in so much information. It's delectable. But it will take a while for it to stick. So if I get names wrong, just know it's because names are the #1 thing that I purge from my brain, which will also be something we'll do when we get to the Villainess tier list. Oh, that being said, I'm watching Hardcatch! Dude, that's best. His first time watching Precure. We ended up at the first half of the show. He loves Itsuki. Taste. 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 I'm so happy. That's the best. So far, I'm depressed, no, that I've let my fans down. Promised, hey, Heaven Ring fan art, because the delivery with important pens is overdue. I'm preparing to write complaint. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you were able to get it out. Welcome into some fun. How are you today? I have some news about the character design project I'm working on. I'm finalizing the design sheets for one of the characters, but I'm having trouble drawing certain angles of the face. Yo, someone put in the free Rin meme. That's so relatable, though. Some angles are, like, suffering, and just... anatomy don't make no sense. Anatomy be confusing. Thanks to then I've had to reschedule my Heaven Ring fan arts to 2027, even if I'm hooked. I'm so sorry. I hope that times and people align better for you. Finally, Toei remembered Akko. Yeah. Last time they remembered her was 2014 for the live-action movie. God, I forgot about that. Agassen was Lance and Doki Doki. That's who it was. Trace, how are you today? Oh, new outfit. Oh, this is something it's one of my older models. That's why it's not as animated as my newer ones. I have this for a project that's coming up that I will be participating in with a longtime friend. So you guys will see this in the future. And I just put her here because I was trying to make sure I got her scaled up and I totally forgot to switch back to the winter one. But yes, this is a temporary one for another project. But it's cute, isn't it? I was like, oh, I always have trouble picking the poses for like when I'm talking versus when I'm quiet. But I was like, but this one, all the characters I've made have drinks, and so when I stop talking, I'm sipping on tea. I think it's really cute. I was really proud. This is probably design-wise was absolutely my fave one to design thus far, but it's not. I wish this was back when I was more motivated to do animation, because then I could have the 4-panel animation for each of them instead of just the yappy and the breathing. Me when August, you do love Augustin already. A friend gave me money early for my birthday, so I pre-ordered the rod. Let's go. Yeah, it's Spency. It's a pretty model. Thank you. She appeared for just an episode and I'm obsessed. She's great. She's a great follow-up villain, and I love how much they like laid into the Gyaru stuff. And I'm so glad that they had Ageha in Precure as a Gyaru-esque character beforehand, because like Gyaru has a very negative stereotype, or had a very negative stereotype in Japan, because it's like supposed to be this rebellious thing. So if she had just been a Gyaru villain and they didn't have like a positive take on it, that would have been kind of annoying. But I'm so glad that Ageha's there so she can be a Gyaru villain. And it's not them making some weird statement about Gyaru culture. That makes me very, very happy. And I also love that people are comparing her so much to Ageha, and I'm like, it's so real though. We get to see what the evil Ageha would have been. This design is everything. Thank you. This dress is actually the outfit I have currently in my Stardew mods, which is why it very specifically has the wings in the back and the dress and the stuff. Otherwise, I'd have my normal wings on my ears. Anyways, next magical Nuzu thing to talk about. Going on with the figures, we have a Shakugan no Shana figure that I think is one of the only kind of... They've been doing sets of old school characters for Nendoroids, which I've really liked, because we had a phase where they did a couple of Clamp old school characters, like they did Yuko, and they did Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle figures. I'm hoping we get rare. I want rare figures so bad. And we'll hopefully hear from that. But they did, like, Utena figures, which... When are we getting Anthe? My Utena figure actually got shipped, so she's gonna show up any day now. Other people have gotten their new Nendoroid already, and I'm like, when am I gonna have my Utena Nendoroid? But they did a bunch of old school ones. This is the only old school kind of girly pop, girly one that we had. That being said, it's from a shonen, but we're going to get a Shakugan no Shana figure. And then I'm gonna catch up on chat before we talk about this beautiful Chobits one, because this one's got a history to it. Da, 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 da. But speaking of clamp, wasn't expecting her to do the "this is whack" like what. So that actually, there's a lot of nuance to it that gets lost in translation that I had somebody break it down for me. I think Inu had the explanation somewhere where I forget precisely what she says, but she says like the same thing 3 times and like 2 of which is from English. Like something, oh, it's cho beri ba, which is cho is like very in Japanese. So like when say somebody says like cho kawaii, they're like very cute. And then she goes cho beri bad, but she's saying very bad in English because there's a lot of the borrow words. So she's basically saying, ooh, very, very bad when she says that instead of like whack. But whack is what they ended up translating it to. So that was a funny line. It's also, they were like, this is such a like old school thing to say because they're from 1999. But even then in 1999, you have Jet being like, wow, that's like ancient. So funny for him to roast her. Which also could imply that the fairies are really old. It's too bad I don't have a Cure debuting on my birthday like last year. That was a fun, especially since Nana ended up to become the way that she is to me in the stand-up. Aww. Rewatching Heartcatch is really making me appreciate it more. I decided to my friend to start with Heartcatch because he's a big Do-Re-Mi. Oh, that's, you're gonna get some great Umakoshi moments there. What I'm thinking about fandom themes so far, Niji is very similar to my OC Acton. Agasen is a little boring. Tallest yet to see Purple Guy. But I think he has a name. I have forgotten it. Leo might be able to help us out here. He does have a name. But yeah, he's definitely like a samurai. Any Precure villains that are Aries like me? Dude, I don't know any of that. Do we have listing birthdays for the villains? Unless they're one of the Cures. Positive notes, I'm getting the Lingle Stone Amethyst this spring from eBay. Let's go. Ugh, Shakugana no Shana. So many memories from high school. I had nightmares because of the movie. I love that. That's hilarious. It's a little spooky sometimes. Cure Summer debuted on my birthday, February 28th. Oh, it's a good one. Well, I guess technically she came out on, like, February 2nd, but, like, it's in that month. Honestly, your heart should have her birthday on Valentine's Day. Oh, Cure Heart. Really needs to have a Precure. Yeah, there's no February birthdays. I think they're so worried about that because of, like, merchandising, and they don't want they want you to focus on buying the merch before you buy the birthday stuff. I feel like they should just give the characters who don't have birthdays that are, like, the older Precure and just say they're somewhere in February. Like, I think Itsuki doesn't have a canonical birthday, and they could just throw her in February and call it a day. Because right now I think we go off her VA's birthday, which is sometime in April. The fourth villain is Goemon, based on the summaries. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Leo. I still don't have a July 24th Cure to match me. I wish for it every year. One day. I don't remember if there's a June 1st one. I think there's June-ish ones that are near there. I think there might be a June 2nd Cure. The Shakugan no Shana opening is one of the best. It's so good! It's so good. Yeah, Cure Heart on Valentine's Day would have made a lot of sense. Yeah, I don't think any Precure season celebrates Valentine's Day, if I remember correctly, just because it's always at the start of the show. And they always kind of, like, pretend that the start of the show is just April. But yes, this is the Chobits Chi figure. This was a garage kit that got a lot of attention the year prior. Either that or 2 years prior. Where people were like, I think they only had, like, 10 kits for her. And, like, everybody was worried it was gonna get by, like, scalpers, because there's so much scalping that happens for garage kits at One Fest, and she was super duper duper sought after, that a figure company actually picked up this garage kit and is doing this really beautiful Chi figure, which I don't have any of the Chi figures. I really want the one where she's on the lamp, but that one's old and expensive. But, the one where she's on the telephone pole, I think the dress is pretty, but I hate the telephone pole. I didn't get that one. But this one I did pre-order because it's so lovely, and if there is anything that will seduce me in the market, It will be frills. I love frills. You have a frilly figure, mine. Immediately, I will purchase it. There's so many, like, gotcha games that I see with frills, and I'm like, she's got such a pretty dress. I don't know who she is, but I want it because there's frills. And it's very dangerous. It's very, very dangerous for me. I'll absolutely take having an older cure on my birthday, or at least share us with February bits. It's like, it's such a good solution. We need it. I'm an April baby, so heck yeah, Itsuki. I think Itsuki was the 15th? Either the 1st or the 15th. And then I think Cure Blossom was not too far. I literally put all of them in my calendar, and I don't know why I'm not consulting my calendar. I took so long one day just putting down all the birthdays in my, like, Google Calendar. So, let me actually utilize that. Etwell is the 8th, Blossom is the 2nd, I think Itsuki is the 1st, Floor is the 10th, Star is the 12th, White is the 4th. There's a lot of April birthdays. I think that's an easy one to get the merchandise going for. Welcome in, Marcus! How are you today? Hope you are doing well. I have a complete compilation with all the songs from Shakugan no Shana and its TV sides. Oh, God. Yo, you got some off vocals, we could do karaoke. Niji disguises himself as women. Age-sen disguises, I can read, herself as men. Will Goemon disguise himself as... I was gonna say kids. My guess is that he's gonna do, like, really tiny kids. And, like, being the big buff guy and does tiny kids. Because now that I think about it, yeah, Niji has only done girls, and we've only seen one from Age-sen. Chugging water. We love the hydrations! And welcome, Owlpla! How are you today? I hope you are doing well. Thank you for the compliment. This is a temporary one. This one is not the spring one yet. Spring one I need to finish, which I only have 15 days left to do it, so it's currently in sketch form. So I will need to finish it. This is for another project I'll be doing in the future once I get all the people involved to pick out dates and times. Anyways, next bit of news, because there was a bunch. Which one do I want to talk about? I guess I'll stick with figures. The next figure on my thing is... We have the... Oh my god, it's so large. Be smaller. Oh my god, be smaller. You'll never guess which series this is. Be smaller. Oh my god, this is too big. Too big. There's probably a way to center scale, but I don't know how to do that in OBS. We are getting scale figures of the girls in their Walpurgis Noct forms, which is very exciting. And instead of the Nindoroids, they announced all of these at once, which is really, really nice. We will be getting to see all of them in their cute little outfits, which I'm excited about. I'm not excited about the price. I'm hoping these are cheaper because, God, the other scales for the series are so expensive, and I don't want to be spending like $200 per figure. I'm hoping these stay under $100. I'm telling you right now. As someone who's like, man, I've collected like all of the scale Madoka figures, I can't stop now, but at the same time, sometimes I feel like I have to. But God, they look so good. The molds look fantastic. Age-sen, you confirmed Age-sen Dice X-Men. I'm doing okay, thank you, especially with the big awesome news that came these last weeks. Ooh, do share which news you are most excited about. I feel like these past 2 weeks have, like, depending on what sphere of fandom you're in, they've either had very dramatic news, it's been really bad news in other places, but for the anime people, it's been great. And cartoon people, if you're really into things like indie animation and whatnot in the West, we got fantastic announcements this week. I was today years old when I found out Uso Noir, the villain in Star Detective voices Rengoku. I think, yeah, we've had several people mention that he's done a lot of voices. And then, oh my god, Niji's voice actor's hilarious because it's Kirito from it's Kirito from SAO, and I can't unhear him as Kirito. Oh my god. So welcome in, Callie. How are you today? Which Cure do you think has the most physically impossible hair? I've been thinking Cure Peace. Cure Peace is definitely up there. Cure Peace and Cure March be having crazy... you know, maybe one day if I'm really feeling it, if I'm feeling motivated, I'm gonna try to recreate their hairstyles with my own hair, but I gotta let it grow out a little bit. I've never seen Chobits. Is it a magical girls show? Not entirely. It's by Clamp, so it's all the same people who do Cardcaptor Sakura and Tsubasa and all that, and Rayearth. But Chobits is about, like, she is a robot girl who, is an android that lives in this world where people all have these personal androids, but there's, like, all of the moral questions about owning a android. I will say it's a more mature series. Chobits is definitely for, like, an older audience, and it is not aged perfectly. But after you get past the first episode, and it's mostly the first episode, the series does have a very emotionally well done story. I think it is the most for men series Clamp has ever done before. If I had to, like, put it on a scale of what to expect, it was written for men. That's the best way I can put it. Pure Beauty does have a crazy cut. That's so true. The Gyadu Thief is based by vodka. Which vodka? I'm like, the second I hear alcohol names for characters, I just think of Detective Conan. Any magical boy news? I think the closest thing we have to magical boy news is we do have another Shaoran Nindoroid was announced. He is getting a school uniform because they announced the old school version, or no, they released an old school version of Sakura for the Nindoroid as part of the anniversary exhibition, which I did get. Then they announced a remake with the newer uniform for Tomoyo, and then now they have Shaoran in the clear card outfit. Like, this is their, like, middle school uniform versus the elementary school uniform at the beginning of the series. So he got something. We got a boy on the board. For one boyish announcement. I'm trying to think if any of the other stuff constitutes as being boyish that happened on the Western Sphere, but not really. Next on my figure list, going through this, because we have quite a bit. Okay, I'm gonna briefly go through them just because I think they deserve a mention. They do have these really cool... There were a lot of Ilia figures, and I don't normally do all the Ilia figures because some of them are a little, you know, I don't think the magical girl audience really wants to see every Ilia figure, I think is the nicest way to put it. However, these magical girly pop figures that they have for them in their typical outfits, and, like, really cool backgrounds. Like, it's got the giant star in the background and she's jumping on the water. Looks really, really good. And same with this one for Miyu. They're very, very pretty figures. I don't think I will get these ones. I do have some Ilia figures because they can be pretty when they want to be. But these figures were kind of nice. I did enjoy seeing that they had decent magical girly pop figures. In the same vein of more mature-ish figures, we do have 2 new figures announced for Panty and Stocking. We've got Stocking Beachwear, and then we have the Panty Beachwear. In terms of, again, the more mature Magical Girl series, since we seem to have skewed in that direction. But bringing it back down, we got a visual. So basically the different tiers of which we see figures is we'll see concept art for a figure being announced. We will see a prototype, which is the gray version. We will see the official pictures of, like, what's going to be on the listing when you buy the figures. And then you can actually see what the figure looks like in the exhibition hall in person. So usually, like, typically the doctored photos that you see for listings will be better than what you're going to get in person. And these guys don't look too bad, which I did buy this as the collection and it was not cheap, but you are getting 5 figures in a table. So I'm glad to see that this does not look bad in person. Catching back up. Oh my goodness. I also made my whole chat now my entire tall pseudo monitor, which now I can see more of chat so I don't get too lost. Have you bought merch from Mercari before? I found some pre-merch. Yes, I have bought from Mercari before. I've usually used a third party from Mercari because I buy on the JP side, because usually the JP side has more than the English side does. And I have no problems with Mercari. I think you're gonna have the same problem that you'll have with any secondhand website where, like, you could get scammed. Just pay very close attention to the pictures and then read the description very thoroughly, because a lot of times people will be like, and this is missing several pieces, but they'll have the pieces in the photo. So always just be very careful when you are shopping. Make sure you are observing as closely as you can. Well, one is the new documentary series, The Dinosaurs, coming on March 6th on Netflix. The same team of Life on Our Planet made a new season, hoping this one proves to be better. Ooh, very exciting. Speaking of the price of the Magica dolls are so expensive. Yeah, the dolls and the kimono figures are, like, they're big expensive. Big expensive. Oh, but another Another bit on expensive figures. I do have now. I have to think. I think individually they're not the most expensive figures I bought, but I did get the new Prisma Madoka figures finally came in, and the box is sitting directly behind me, and it is the biggest figure box I've ever gotten, and I'm like, I gotta stop breaking that record of having the biggest figure box I've ever owned, because it's so massive. But yeah, this is how it has Gadoka and a Devil Homura, and it's very Yuri. And I will be unboxing it sometime this week and posting a video. I wonder if I should do a long form video for it just because it's so expensive that I'm like, maybe I should do both a typical short and then a big video. We'll see. I saw good fan arts of the white version of Arcana and the red-orange accessories recently. She looked beautiful. I do not understand why the fan... I think it's because we just so very rarely get black magical girls in this, like, outfit-wise, that I feel like people are very attached. I'm very attached, but I'm warming up to the idea of her having, like, a white goddessy look to her. The horse girl vodka. Yeah, Uma Musume. See, I'm so out of the loop on Uma Musume. I'm like, skipped what's more recent and immediately went to the ancient times Detective Conan being like, which villain's vodka? I'm finally here. Welcome in, SRP. How are you today? Have you seen the theory about Niji being Curie Claire? I definitely have seen theories. I even theorized that when I first saw the thing. I mean, anything's possible. Anything is so possible. These figures are adorable. I gotta admit, they're very pretty. Arcana has a white cure, looks good. People just don't want to let go of the black, yeah. It's like, basically we're fighting over two of the rarest colors we see in Precure outfits, where you're like, we barely get any whites, but we certainly barely get any blacks. So it's like, hold on to the one thing we had. If she was like a pink and they were like, she turns white, people would be like, go for it. People would be like, yeah, we've had a 1,000 pinks. We have pink every season. Bye. Wow, they look like they're having a tea party. Yeah, it's a little tea party from the opening of movie 3. I've always wanted to know what panty stocking designs would look like in 3 dimensions, and I now know with these figures. Yeah, they used to have, like, they have older panty and stocking, like, Nindoroids and stuff, and they don't look that great. They've gotten so much better. Imagine if they tried to do, like, heart catch figures nowadays, because the biggest struggle with heart catch is that it doesn't work amazingly in 3 dimensions the way we used to do stuff, but I feel like if they made heart catch figures now, they could make them so good. Actually, I do think there was a Garage Kit person that I am mutuals with on Twitter who did... I don't think they did heart catch recently, but they've been doing Do-Re-Mi characters, and they look phenomenal, because that's another series that debatably looks good in 3D. I'm far more excited about the chairs and the table, right? I'm like, ooh, the chairs and table are kind of nice. I could do a little setup. I think if I get this, I'm gonna put it in my kitchen. I'll set it up somehow in the kitchen. I want, like, I like that my cabinets have space above the cabinets, so I like where people usually like put either like bottles of alcohol or they put like fancy plates you'll never use. I'm gonna stick figures up there and like have figure scenes. Like at one point my entire kitchen was Eurocamp and I had all the like Eurocamp stuff set up as a like doing a whole camping scene across the top of my kitchen, and it was really, really cute. Made me happy. It sparked joy. Penny and Stocking was my first magical girl when I was 10. Not joking, I never understood the jokes, and now I understand. Yeah, I watched that one too young as well. I don't remember how old I was when I saw Penny and Stocking. I can't remember if I was like freshman high school or end of middle school. I saw it way too young, and I was like, oh, some of these jokes make me a little uncomfy, and it's like, yeah, Queen, it's because you were too young to be watching this. That would be why. I don't touch those kind of magical girls. I only watch Symphogear because IDK. That's valid. That's very valid. Like, it's totally fair to not be into the adult series. They're obviously curated to a very niche amount of humor that absolutely does not apply to everybody. And I think it's very respectful if you do not enjoy it. Symphogear, the pinnacle of anime cheesiness. Oh my god. I still need to dive more. I've only seen the first season of Symphogear. I still need to finish watching Symphogear. I started because people said it was, like, Prince Session's spiritual successor. It's true. But that one, like... Also, welcome in, Max on. How are you today? But yeah, Prince Session, you just have to know that Prince Session is towards a girl audience, and then Symphogear is towards a male audience. And they'll become very apparent when you watch them. That being said, if you like things like Nanoha, you'll love Symphogear. It's fine, you're right. I watched to try to branch out, and I guess it worked. There you go! Wait, what color would Henri Cure, Infinity, and Precure. I consider Henri into that, like, kind of light green category. And then Cure Connect, I think, is, in my opinion, is blue. He's like that light teal blue. But that's a whole can of worms if we're gonna open that up. You know what? Fortnite needs a Magical Girl season. That's true. Like, I'm surprised they've not done Sailor Moon with the collabs they've been getting, because they've gotten some very interesting collabs, and they have collabed with Toei Animations. With, like, what's the name? Goku from Dragon Ball, so surely they could do Sailor Moon. I guess maybe not, because I think, that would be a Naoko thing, because I think Naoko now has the rights for Sailor Moon, and she would have to agree to it, and she's very picky about Sailor Moon collabs. But they could do Precure if they tried. They did Keys in an Eye. Surely we could get some, like, Do-Re-Mi in there. Maybe not Do-Re-Mi. So far, Star Detective merch doesn't interest me. If White Arcana will be real, and she'll be a pretty plushie, I'll buy her. Oh, that's cute. Honestly, it's a vibe. It makes a spin-off cooking manga. Wish you'd effortlessly work. Aw. I think I like Symphogear more than Princession. I prefer Bandit Snatch to any of the villains, though. Fair. I still need to find a way to watch Precure. I'll DM you about that. We can sort that out. I loved Fantastic Four reference in Penny and Stocking Season 2, and the Latin dub made it even funnier. Dude, I've heard the dubs for it have been very good for, Penny and Stocking New. Niji needs more green on him, as it has a lot more green on him than the recent Cures. We're gonna get very picky weak in that department, but yeah. I started watching it when I was 14. I definitely should not have been watching it. Yep. Yeah, a lot of us in that generation watched Panty and Stocking far too young, and I promise you, if you wait, you will appreciate it better. Otherwise, you'll be like, what did I watch, and why do I hate myself? And then you grow up, and then you're like, it was for an adult audience. That's why I felt the way I felt. Next up, we have these, dolls. So we have the Cardcaptor Sakura. These are, like, the Nindoroid dolls. They have, like, the doll joints, and they use fabric clothing rather than the plastic clothing on the typical Nindoroid. So we had the announcement of the school uniform one with Sakura, and then we had the announcement of Tomoyo, also in her uniform. Don't know why that resized. Yeah, same size. She stayed the same size. Nonetheless, we have these two announced in the figure category. Next up for figures. I'm trying to go in order. I should have named these better. We did have the figure update, where this is now pre-orderable. They announced a million years ago that they were doing an amulet heart, and I don't remember the name. I think it's Vistar Studio, who typically does these promo photos. He did such a good job with this, because tell me you've never seen a prettier magical girl figure photo. He popped off with this. Thank you, T. I got you! Hear me out, Precure need Funko Pops and U2s. I like the U2s more than the Funko Pops, but I feel like Funko Pop is currently going out of business, so they've been having a little bit of financial trouble, so I don't know if they'll do Precure. But U2s has been popping off. It's their time. Precure really needs some merch around America. I agreed 100%. I mean, they would make a lot of money. We're just saying, just stick them in a local Target. I'd eat it up. Bandit Snatch were cool villains. They're fun. Going by Luluka so far, what do you think her deal is? Blackmail double agent, hers and Eclair's powers being stolen. She's only doing this to get them back. I think her bit is she's been misled. My best theory is that she has been misled on, like either she's been offered something she needs and she's going with the villains and she doesn't, like, you know, doesn't see what they're doing as super bad. Because to be fair, when they attacked this week, Age-sen made a barrier and prevented civilians from interacting with the monster, which was kind of crazy because normally we see that on the magical girl side, but our villains even were like, we're keeping the monsters away from people. So at the end of the day, like, they're stealing rather than all the other villains want to, like, destroy the world. They want to just, like, mislead the world, which is very interesting. I think it's very different from what we've seen before, and I think that will make a stronger argument for, Luluka trying to explain why she's on Team Evil. Not Penny and Stocking. Symphogear. Oh, I've never seen Penny and Stocking. I like the art style, though. Ah, got you. I had such an unrestricted internet access. Yo, same. Grew up in crazy times, I'll tell you. But I also was in the golden era of YouTube where copyright meant nothing. I love Card Captor Sakura stories. I think my big sis... Oh, that's so sweet. My head is screaming at me. Oh no. Oh my god. Get some medication and lie down if you need. You can always check the bot if you're worried about missing anything. But if you're not, like, just... You are free to step away and feel better. Baby. Wow, some of these figures are really stunning. They are so good. Do you think Luluka and Mashutan can disguise herself like the Phantom Thieves do when her time comes to fight? I am curious if she will bother to do that. Like, that's one of the biggest questions I have is how much is Luluka like the other villains, or does she have a different function? Because I wonder if she's going to run around with a disguise, or if she's genuinely going to let the other villains do that and then do some other kind of fighting. Mashutan, I wonder if she has a human form, because every fairy thus far in this show has had a counterpart human form except for Pochitan, but there's the implication that Pochitan couldn't turn into her human form because she's baby and used up all her powers. But now that we know all the villains are technically speaking fairies, I wonder what their fairy forms look like, and then reverse if Mashutan has a human form. That we may have even seen Mashutan's human form already. Who knows? Easily accessible merch in Europe would be so good too. Right. Random fact about me. I read the manga of Shugokara first and watched the anime, and I didn't like reading because I thought it was only for nerds and I was a middle schooler. I think around that era was the first time I read manga. I think my friend gave me Full Moon was Sagashite because she had a couple of copies of it, and then we read it in gym, and I was like, I hate reading manga because it's black and white. And then I was like, wait, this story slaps. Then I became a reader. I'm just listening, only looking at screen to type. Okay, as long as you're taking care of yourself. The 3-part anime YouTube. Yeah, sub Espanol, let's go. The only Precure merch I got is some see-through card wallet with wonderful, and I found it in a kawaii shop. Oh, we at least get the remnants of merchandise in the far-off places. But so far, only Augustin did the brand new barrier. It's true. Niji, I think we've been... I guess when we were in the park, everybody walked away, so Niji didn't care. Does that mean Niji can do it once he comes back? I assume they'll stick with that, but we'll see. We'll see if it's just an August-san ability. I don't like the idea of the villains being fairies. It makes it predictable, but I hope their personalities can make up for it. I think them telling us so soon that they're fairies and not really hiding that in the way that they did last season means that there might be more to it. Like, I think we're gonna get a bigger, like, explosion, because we still don't understand where the fairies and the Precure magic come from in this universe, because it's far more intertwined with humanity, from what it seems. Don't remember if I asked, but what would your idea of a robot magical girl look like? Can I say my life as a teenage robot? That's like the first thing that comes to mind. Oh, that's the first thing that comes off the top of my head. Alright, next up on things I wanted to go over, because we covered most of the figures. Oh, I have 2 more figure ones, because these aren't necessarily magical girls unless you, like, squint. But if you guys have not seen Kaguya on Netflix, or other places you may want to watch it, watch Kaguya. It's so good. It's so good, and it's so good that they've already announced that they're doing a scale figure for, Yachio, and then doing a scale figure for Kaguya. They haven't announced one for our lead girl, but hopefully they'll announce her too. Because she also has a pretty cute outfit. But I'm glad that the series is popping off. I highly recommend it. I did that thing where I saw it at first and I heard the Vocaloid music and I was like, I'm intrigued. I saw trailers and I was like, I don't know if this will be for me, but I'm gonna watch it anyways. I watched it and I was like, never mind, this is the best thing ever. I had the same thing happen to me with K-pop Demon Hunters. Highly recommend Kaguya. And it's like an hour and a half, so it's not long. Don't remember if I did read that. I need more book type merch. I'm a book hoarder. If you got a Kinokuniya anywhere near you, that's a great place to get. Like, they have Precure art books in there. And as well as other ones. Like, I think I have my Sailor Moon art books I got at the Kinokuniya in New York. What I liked about this new season is that the new stuff is happening in coming episodes so far. I mean, what is happening in it? Yes, there's very exciting things on the way. I understand, where'd that go? The notion that girls don't play with toys because I was a kid and I played with Barbie dolls, so as a kid I never understood. Yeah, I don't, it's very weird the way that they're like, girls don't buy merchandise, and I was like, girls tend to buy more merchandise than dudes do, because dudes are like dissuaded from owning like collectibles to a degree. So I don't understand why they're like, girls be sitting there spending money on every collectible imaginable. They're like, they're always collecting makeup, they're collecting magazines, they're collecting books, and I'm like, why do you think we wouldn't collect some cute figure? But then again, we now have, like, in America, we got, like, Minisos and stuff like that, so there have more girly pop merch stores, but I just need Miniso to carry more. Like, I don't understand why Miniso is not paired with, like, Toei to sell more merchandise. They've got Sailor Moon stuff in there, but they don't have, like, Precure stuff. And I'm like, they've got brands that don't exist. Like, Chikawa is not something that's widely known in America, and they'll sell Chikawa merch. And I'm like, you can surely sell some Precure merch in there. People would love it. Especially Pretty Holic. If you want to go with something that's not too overt, get Precure Holic. I just remember those cool figures Final Fantasy X, or Final Fantasy X and X-2 decades ago. We didn't get them at the end, but still nice to see pictures of them. Yes, they did have, Final Fantasy X had some merch here. I don't know how I feel about the figures, because the manufacturer always goes with the weird, like, Western style way of doing the figures, where they look like their hair constantly looks like wax. But I'm glad that they're getting figures. Definitely for the people who are major fans of Final Fantasy. Their hyper-realistic figures kind of freak me out sometimes. I need to branch out with more anime, but there's so many of them. Yeah, it's hard. Which Phantom Thieves as a fairy will be the cutest? Obviously, I'm gonna say that probably Age-san is a cutie patootie, and I think also Niji will probably be pretty cutie patootie. Maybe late, but happy Valentine's Day! Happy Valentine's Day, Marcos. How long do you think it will be before we see Pretty Holic in the season? I feel like we need to see it sooner than later, because they need to sell it, but I guess they're letting there be a bit of a lull. We did see that the lip gloss is on the keychain, Anna's keychain. So we know that it's there. We just haven't acknowledged, like, how it connects to the show. Next up on the figure announcements, Kotobukiya later this week announced their figures, and again, Kotobukiya, the one that just did the Amulet Heart one for Shugokara, they have a Cardcaptor Sakura one on the way, which is very interesting that they're also doing Cardcaptor Sakura alongside Good Smile. Cardcaptor Sakura will be like, we pair with anybody, no exclusive contracts. Then we have, the other one that's really big was they announced Amulet Spade. Because now we have a Shugokara. We've got the regular Amu. We've got the regular, Uta. We've got Amulet Heart. We've got whatever her one was where she was with the other fairy. It's not, because Seraphic Charm is Uta's. I don't remember what the name of her one, like, it's like the Heart Charm. And then now we have Amulet Spade, which is incredibly exciting. Which means we'll probably get Amulet Clover and Amulet Diamond as well. Very exciting in that respect. Other stuff we have... Oh, merchandise stuff. So for people who may have seen it in passing, there is the artist... Fernanda Diaz, a Brazilian artist, who does this really amazing, like, indie film, in, like, solo art animation she does of the Bunny Witch, which I'm going to try to pull up here. Bunny Witch. Oh, we probably also could probably watch a clip of it, because I don't think that's copyrighted. But you might have seen, like, this thing is one of her first ones. If I bring up the... Whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You've probably seen this one, because I think this was one of her very first ones she did of the character. At least the first one I saw way back in the day on Tumblr. Let me make sure the volume's off for this one. So I think she might have had copyright music in some of these. But she does all these indie animations. She has a very distinct style, but it's so pretty. This is her main character. I think Lorena was her name, if I don't misremember, but she has this really cool, like, witch magical girl transformation that they do right here. This one popped off a couple years back. Computer, why must you whine? But, like, look how amazing this is. Like, look at it. Oh, it's so good. She does really phenomenal animation. But she has a plushie to help fund her animations. I think the other one that really popped off was this one, which I'm gonna mute because the music for this I do think is copyrighted. Can we agree that the amulet Diaform deserved more screen time. 100%. 100%. As a kid, I was I'm guessing that's Monster High, or Monster to my own dolls. Oh no! I put them in the freezer after coloring her hair as an adult. I will be protecting them. Oh my god. I think I used to chop the hair off my dolls, but I think that was far more normal. And I was just like, it will grow back. And my mom's like, that's not how that works. Probably not long. They need their money. It's true. They need that Pretty Holic money. I wish we had a Precure store in America. I know. So to be fair, it'd be somewhere in California if they did. I'm buying some dinosaur figures, like some of the paleo friends. It's not easy in Brazil. I bet it's not. At least Amazon would help us, but choosing one of many is such a hard choice. Aww. Who's your favorite dino? I saw that in Leo's live. Yeah. I made him talk about it. But yes, she is doing plushie, which I have already purchased. I have immediately purchased this. Immediately purchased her little plushie. Because I have loved this forever. I really wish a studio would pick her up and let her do it. Because it's such a cute series. Where I don't know if maybe she has it in her shorts, if not the long form ones. But like, it's these two mages that ultimately are a couple. Eventually. They're such cute little animations. With our cat guy with a black cat, and she's got her lucky white rabbit. It's very cute. This was my Miraculous before Miraculous came out. I love this. I've seen these for years. She's such an amazing artist. Such a distinct style. So cute and expressive. I'm a huge fan. Big old nerd for her. Typical Windows sound. I know, it always decides to happen when I'm streaming. I was like, oh, don't play the Windows sound. And it was like, guess what? You can't mute that stupid thing. It makes me mad. Why does she use copyright music and not free? So I think she worked with the actual person who wrote the song as part of her video. But that person obviously copyrighted their music, which is totally fair. But she is working with a smaller musician. It's just copyright is copyright, and it's not very friendly. I bought a Glamrock Freddy minifigure from Macari. Let's go! I love Lumity. That was one. I don't think I actually have this in the folder. That was one of the announcements this week too, was that for people who are fans of the Owl House, they have announced a graphic novel that will take place after the end of the main events and then 2 years before the finale. So there's a nice like mid-time skip graphic novel that continues Owl House that also is allowed to be a little bit more mature, which I'm very excited about. I love the Owl House with every fiber of my being. Maybe Glitch Productions. I feel like I would love Glitch, but I also know that they have so many projects because they've got Gameaverse. They've got Guinevere, and they've got the Gaslight District on the docket. They've got a lot going on right now, but maybe one day they'll pick it up. Because with Guinevere they now can do 2D. This artisan animator has talents, great animation. See you later, Marcos. Hope you have a good day. Oh my goodness, it's the Witch Bunny. I'm screaming. Welcome in, Noah. How are you today? Hope you are doing well. Yeah, Witch Bunny. Obsessed with Witch Bunny. Very, very cool concept that makes me go, yeah, this is why I love Magical Girl. Taking a break from that to talk about. I should have put the Dana Terra stuff in here, but I forgot to download that beforehand. I've been trying to get through my other stuff. Other big announcements since we're down to doing miscellaneous ones. For people who are fans of Tinkerbell, the next book, and I don't know what they're calling this, which I think I had a higher quality image for this one. Yeah, this is the cover announcement one. Oh, it is much bigger. They have the next one. They had Wings of Starlight that was about Queen Clarion and her relationship with Mallory and everything that went down there. Now they're doing one with Periwinkle, which they've given her a love interest, which is a choice. But nonetheless, I'm glad that they're getting another book. I will purchase it. I'm very excited about it. I love the art that they have for these. Like, the Tinkerbell books, to begin with, had a very distinct art style that I miss. I don't know whatever happened to that artist, but she popped off. But I also like the art to these books a lot. And it'll be interesting to see this for anybody who loves the Tinkerbell universe. Welcome in. Yes, how are you today? I'm looking forward to read the graphic novel of the Owl House. Dana herself confirmed that she said Ida can say damn. I know, that's the biggest news. Let Ida curse. I have to go too, but thanks for the live. Bye, bye, Marcos. Have a great day. I heard the Owl House book. I'm gonna get it for Christmas because budget life. Totally fair. Totally fair. The Witch Bunny and the Wizard Cat is my my next ship for the Witch Bunny. Yeah. By the end of the Idol Cures, did Puridoon and Zakyum seem like two different characters despite being the same person, or was it easier to see them as the same? I feel like Puridoon, when she is little Puridoon, feels like Puridoon. Zakyun kind of began to feel more normal, and I think her running around in human Puridoon form made it easier to accept Zakyun. But I still think that was one dynamic that never felt fully bridged to me. I haven't watched the Tinkerbell movie in years. I have never read the books. Highly recommend all of it. It's really good. The lore is all over the place, so don't expect it to be consistent. But I do think that they're such a, like, vibes thing. Especially since we're coming up on spring. Tinkerbell stuff is such a good springtime IP to mess around with. Can Owl House get a Fortnite collab? Dude, I wish. Imagine Loose with a Glock. Crazy. I miss the Tinkerbell movies. They're so good. They were like peak media, man. I loved the Tinkerbell movies with every fiber of my being. Alright, next piece of news. We did get a Valentine's Day notice. I didn't go through all the accounts, so I'm sure there's other official accounts that had a little Valentine's Day celebration, but Petite Fairies, the Precure Fairies did have a Valentine's Day thing that they put out, which was very cute, celebrating the holiday, called little fairies. So that was nice. I missed this one, another merch one. Cardcaptor Sakura with Good Smile specifically is releasing these bags, which Good Smile very rarely does non-figure merch, but they have done a lot of non-figure merch with Cardcaptor Sakura. Now they have 3 bags, and at some point I need you guys to help me decide. Should I get the egg bag or should I get the wing bag? Which one of these? Which are we feeling? I'm not getting the yellow one, I'll be honest with you. Not my thing. But the egg bag or the wing bag? Help a girl out. Which one should I get? My purse is always magical girl themed. I miss KH4 and definitely KHML. Are we talking about Kingdom Hearts 4 that has not happened yet? And then KHML. Is that Missing Link? I forget that Kingdom Hearts has so many spin-off names. We deserved Kingdom Hearts at the State of Play and we didn't have that. Kingdom Hearts 4 not being at the State of Play hurt my feelings. I was personally victimized by the lack of presence. I don't have it on me at the moment, but we did get another trailer for Luluto Lily, which is coming this spring. So that's like in a month or two, we're gonna get Luluto Lily. No! My background! No, the void! You guys saw the void. No! This should be locked. Why is this not locked? Background, stop moving. Sorry, I had something on my desk fall over. And it spooked me. But yeah, Luluto Lily had another trailer. We got to see more of them. And then, I never know how to pronounce it. I've never said it out loud, but Elite? The K-pop group. The K-pop group, is doing the opening. That did that, Do the Dance, which is the most magical, girly coded, opening I've ever heard. Or not opening, but a K-pop song I've ever heard in my life. That was amazing. Okay, I got a vote for the wing bag. I've got a vote for the egg bag. We're already divided. I miss the Tinkerbell movies. It's so good. And yes, Missing Link. I knew it. Look at me. I miss playing Union. Oh god, Union Cross was so good. The true MMO of MMOs. Castlevania is back. Oh my god, so the Castlevania game. The main character for that, is that based off the TV series for the game? Is that supposed to be, what was it, Sylvie and Trevor's child? Or is that just Sylvie with a whip? I was like, is that not straight up from the show? Am I crazy? Well, also watch Castlevania on Netflix. It's a good one as well. It is more mature, though. Alright, let me think what else in here did I want to talk about, or have I exhausted all the things? Oh! This was a bit of time ago, but, oh my god, why is it so tiny? We had the re-release, which is interesting. So they're doing another Linkle Stone, or not Linkle Stone, Linkle Stick for Mahotsukai as the Pretty Memories line. But I wonder if this is the exact same. I'm gonna buy it and find out so I can have two. Because I always wanted two wands from this series so that I could have, obviously, Miracle and Magical stick at the same time. But I have the original stick, and I wonder how this differs from the OG one. If it does at all, or they just really reprinted the other one and just said it was Pretty Memories. I don't know. I'm very interested to see. Same here. I'm so sad we didn't get Kingdom Hearts for any Sonic or Sega game at the State of Play. I know we were robbed. The Bag Wars. We're doing the Bag Wars. Or think it is a remake. Oh, I got you. Precure. Alright. Let's finish this up before we go into our lady villains. If there was any other major one. What else do I have here? I think this will be the last one I talk about then. They did do this chart for anybody who is, first of all, on top of me recommending 80,000 shows in this stream, Rainbow Bubble Gem's really good. This one is specifically with the characters for Season 2, so if you didn't watch Season 2, you're not going to recognize everybody who's here. But they did the seat meme, which I thought was really cool. These guys are really on top of the memes for their marketing. They're really good at doing, like, since their characters are 3D, they constantly do dance covers of whatever the latest trending song is on, like, short form media. And so they did the seat meme, which I thought was really funny. By the way, I'm in seat 8 with my girls. I am such an Indigo stan. She's my favorite character in the show. And obviously Purple's fun. So, they did the seat meme, and I thought that was really cute and funny. I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad that they're on top of the memes, and they use their little art style. They've got great artists on their team. Also, you can watch all of Season 1 for free in English on YouTube, and then you can watch, Season 2 in Korean or Indonesian. I think, like, Bahasa Indonesian, for, Season 2, because I think they do the split language on their Korean channel. They do not have the English dub yet for Season 2. And you can try to figure out subs. But also, you know what? You don't need to know enough Korean to know what happened in Season 2. I watched all of it in Korean, and I vaguely understood what happened. I knew what I need to know, because it showed the daughter of Bella. I knew it. It was his daughter. She looks a lot like Sylvie. My goodness, Mahotsukai is 10 years. Don't say stuff like that out loud. we think about that in the back of our heads. Making myself some soup, it makes me feel better. Oh, soup is the best thing for when you're feeling unwell. A good old-fashioned. Though I had fake person soup because I'd always eat, like, SpaghettiOs. I love SpaghettiOs when I was a kid. I even like SpaghettiOs now. People are like, SpaghettiOs are terrible, and I'm like, let me have my terrible canned soup. I love SpaghettiOs when I feel sick. And I will not apologize. I will say somebody bought me SpaghettiOs without the meatballs one time, and it was disgusting. I was like, put those meatballs back in there. That's like Lucky Charms without the marshmallows. Let me have my cheap food I grew up on. Alright. Placeholder image gone. Tier list here. So Anthony on the channel requested that we do the female villainesses of the franchise. So we will only be doing the ladies today, and I do think this only goes up through Wonderful, so we'll get to what we can. I don't know if we'll cover all of this today, because I think we've got about an hour to get through as much as we can. And we're gonna have some interesting categories this time, but we're gonna start off with the traditional wedding cake tier, everybody. Also, I'm gonna need your help, chat, to look up the names of characters, because I will absolutely not remember anybody in the beginning. Again, the name goes, in one ear, not the other. Alright. Alright, we have cake, donut, brownie, cookie with icing, health bar, just sugar. And instead of the salt tier, we've got one other one. Well, I had a funny name for it. Now I've forgotten what it was. There goes my good pun for the day. I'm just gonna do new phone who dis for any of the villainesses I don't remember. I'm also gonna need to like be able to zoom in because I can't see some of these characters. Ladies only. Ladies only. I prefer watching Rainbow Bubble Gym in Korean. Let's go. Because the English dubs, it's not so good. So that's the interesting thing about the English dub is that they have the Singaporean English dub that came out first that I think got distributed. That was on Singaporean Netflix. And then they have a American dub of it with different, more well-known voice actresses and actors. So you'll have to be specific which English dub you don't like. But nonetheless, we're starting off real strong. Oh god, this is gonna be so hard already. I remember she was like a parental figure to him, but I don't remember who she is. Maybe we'll go through this very quickly because I don't remember any of them. Because we're coming down the line and I'm also like, I don't remember you either. I need to rewatch the first few seasons. Because I don't think I'm going to remember anybody until Fresh. I take that back. You know, Michiru and Kaoru. I don't remember her. And then I vaguely remember her. I'll put her in Just Sugar, but I don't even remember. We're already 4 in and I don't know any of their names. I vaguely remember you, and you. I don't know who this woman is. I've never seen her a day in my life. Is she a movie villain? I don't know who that is. Is she real? I don't know. I don't know. These two are wedding cake. Immediately amazing. What was their name in Otona? They had their, like, the Nightlight podcast. I love them. Can you change the second yellow to a different color? Oh, yeah. I can do that. What? Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's see. We're gonna give you... No, black. I won't be able to read the text. I want to give them a fun color. White. New phone who dis. I guess Singaporean English dub because that's the one they posted on their English YouTube. I have to check which one's on the YouTube. But yeah, they definitely have two very different dubs with very differing degrees of skill sets for who they were able to hire. I remember, oh my god, I do remember the name Poisony. And Shita Tade, don't know that one at all. Spelling for me. Ooh, we're starting off real rough. This is gonna be the fake fan hours. Because now I have to play this game of... I can't see them very well. I think this is a woman. Put it right there. We're gonna look up the yes 5 to splash star villains. Oh my god. I don't remember any of you guys. You all were so unmemorable. Oh god, now I'm looking at even tinier pictures trying to be like who's who. Whom's who's. Whomsty who's is whomt. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Is this one a lady? I can't. It's so tiny. Can I zoom in? This is how bad it is. I need to see the pictures better. I think this is a lady. I don't remember her. I don't remember her either. Is the mushroom character villain? I don't remember. Does anybody remember these villains? Some of these I've never seen a day in my life. I've never seen some of these villains a day in my life. Who? Wikipedia and Google, I know, I have them on hold. Like, I have the yes 5 characters, and they are not the same characters that are on this screen. Alright, here we go. We got Shibireta. is a Yes 5 Go-Go villain. To be fair, I don't know if I've... No, I've definitely seen every episode of Yes 5, but I saw them multiple years apart because they didn't have the full season on YouTube back in the day. So I had to look very high and low, and let me tell you, they did not have the Yes 5 Go-Go episodes in order. You saw them in not chronological order. I don't know who half of these people are. But that's the only villain on this list. That's... What? There's a villain here that's not on here. Anacondi? Do we have Anacondi on this list? I don't think Anacondi is here. No, I just put her up here. Never mind. She got redesigned. Oh, okay. She has multiple forms. Sorry, Anacondi, the disrespect I just had to you. Miss Yes 5 villain, I don't remember. Oh, Lord. I have to watch the first three seasons of Precure again. Dude, this was Belle, right? Belle wasn't... She was okay. Belle was a minute ago. Precure was so bad at villains during Futariwa de Go-Go. Okay, I feel less bad. Yeah, mostly Yes 5. Belle, I think her name was Belle. Either it was Belle or it had a longer name. She was the one from Otana. She was not... She was okay. She was one of those ones where they weren't brave enough to say what they needed to say or have a good resolution for it, because she's like, yeah, my tower got destroyed and rebuilt in World War II, and I don't like that humans destroy everything and that they're eventually gonna be evil. And I was like, that's kind of valid, but we sure don't know how to retort a villain that's made such a decent point. So Belle's kind of middle of the road. Alright, who else we got going here? Where's Northa? Northa is, like, debatably wedding cake tier, because this is a true villain here. She is straight up evil, and she did a great job at just being a straight up horrible villain. We peaked with Fresh. Fresh had such good villains. Like, I remember, like, literally, anybody before here, I don't know who they are. But when we get to Westar and Solar, I'm like, I know these guys! These are my bros! I immediately remember, like, here's where the amnesia is. The line of amnesia is right here. They did the same with Sailor Moon when I first watched on YouTube. God. Sassorina, though. Also, I'm putting Sassorina in Wedding Cake. She's fantastic. I love Sassorina. She was a diva villain, and I loved her. And she also was, like, one of the first time, like, I can't remember, she's not the first villain to be purified, but she got, like, purified in the middle of the show, and that was so badass. Also, in the Yes 5 villains, I do not see, the evil Yes 5 girls. And that's a crime. I would absolutely put those guys in Wedding Cake tier. We need more, like, Northa, pure evil a-holes. Yeah, just a really decent bad guy who just did evil by the book. Sassorina had so much personality. She was so sassy, and she had to deal with all the BS of her teams. So valid. So valid. Very sassy villain. She also just has such a, like, unique character design. Because, like, I mean, all the villains have, like, very unique character designs, but sometimes I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just because they were so Super Sentai back in the day, or they were just, like, stereotypical based on, like, sex workers or witches and stuff. I feel like Sassorina had so much personality with her design that felt better. And I like that she got redeemed. Sassorina was such a good villain. Dark Precure will also go in Wedding Cake. Everything about her went super hard. And it's also great to see her in the season with Sassorina, because these two are just so different from one another. They're so distinct in personality. They're so distinct in design. I just absolutely obsessed with that. Dark Precure made me cry at the end of the show, and I didn't think I was gonna cry over Dark Precure, but it gave me something. I loved it. Sassorina has Sassorina. I know, she's literally the Sass. She is Miss Sass. They planned that from the start. Alright, next we've got so many men to get through. I guess, yeah, Sweet I don't think had any girls as the villain. Because it was all dudes who got turned evil. Oh, what was her name? What was her name for Smile? Majorina? I was gonna be like Majokorina, and that was not it either. I think it's Majorina. She's pretty fun. She, like, this is the only time where I'm gonna be like, she's just an evil witch, but it's the point because it's a storybook season. Her, like, adult witch form versus the granny form is also impressive. She was crazy and I loved her. She did such a good job at just being an archetypal witch. Also, when I watched, I saw the English fan dubs, and I thought it was real because I was a kid. Oh my god. I did the other thing around. There was they did some actual dubs. I think Ocean did a dub for Mermaid Melody, and I thought it was a fan dub. I was like, this is a really high quality fan dub, and it's like, it's a real dub that you'll never see. And I'm like, okay, rude. Hardcatch seems to have a completely different art style from Umiko, she came in and really, like, shook up the way they did it. Because they did, like, I would say up through Yes 5 Go-Go, they had very similar designs. Fresh, they really went different for the design. Hardcatch, they went even differenter. And then they kind of brought it back with Sweet, but Sweet also is the most detailed season. There's so much going on. Alright, Sassorino was great. What is this? Bad and Precure. They're fun. They needed more screen time. They have really good designs, because when you look at them, like, actually look at them, they're not just, like, a palette swap of the main girls. They have unique hairstyles. And so I really love the Bad and Precure girls. They're really cool. They deserve to be more than just a few seconds on screen. I kind of wish they did what they did with the evil Yes 5 girls. Oh god, what was her name? It was Mam something, because it's based on Mammon. It's the 7 Deadly Sins. What was her name? I ended up liking her more towards the end because she ended up assuming a mother role after having just kind of an archetypal sassy lady role. So I really like that she ended up being this mother figure for Ida. But I'm trying to remember her name. I will look that one up. Sassorina and Dark Precure are S tier. Yes. I'm back. I finally watched the new episode. Let's go! I hope you had a good time. Marmo. Marmo makes sense. Bad and Precure. Or Bad and Beauty, regular beauty. I said what I said. You said facts. Where would Chokine, Darkine, and the Gyaru Thief go? We will get to them at the very bottom. They're not on the list, but I'll rank them. I'll have fun ranking them. Oh my god, my girl, Regina. I'm a Regina apologist. I feel like people either like Regina a lot or they hate Regina. I loved Regina, especially when the way they introduced her, because they're like, we're about to have this female character show up and she's the embodiment of selfishness. And I kind of expected her to be like that spoiled brat princess from Powerpuff Girls and have that kind of personality. But Regina ended up being like really, really nice. But she's just aggressive and like overly friendly. And I thought that was such an amazing take on a selfish person. Like, her interactions at the beginning of the series, specifically with Mana, made me love the show at that point. Like, the introduction of Regina up until Regina to the halfway point of the show were some of my favorite episodes of that entire show. I love Regina with every fiber of my being. Regina was so good, and she suffered for no reason I know, because then, like, eventually Regina got turned into the more, what you expected, a selfish character to be when she got more evilized. But I love vanilla Regina with every fiber of my being, and she had great character development. Like, her relations to the Precure really, like, you got to see really good improvement of a person who starts out being selfish, but not selfish in an evil way. Eventually she is in an evil way, but kind of teaching somebody to be less selfish and care about others was very, they did such a good job with her character. Wasn't she the lady who got snagged out of being in the mid-season? Yes. She did lose being the mid-season. She should have been Cure Ace, but that is a whole can of worms to get down in. I'm a huge Regina apologist. I like her a lot more than I like Aguri. I love Regina. Regina's such a good character. Oh my god. Oh, shoot. I forget this girl's name. She was a fun villain. I'm trying to remember her name. This is, again, where the amnesia comes in. I don't know if I'm gonna put her in Brownie or Donut. She was fun. I think we could have had more from her, because I think she did kind of the least of the happiness charge villains. Oh, what was her name? I only remember the villains who had more story to them. Hoshiwa. She had a really good design. I think she is one of my favorite, like, villain designs. Because she also, I think people at the time were also curious if she would end up being a redeemed Cure. Because she just had, like, that youthful girl look to her. I think there were designs of her being, like, in a Cure form. I think people, like, turned her into an orange Cure, because I remember one where they did her hair curls, and she had orange, and she was, like, a Cure instead. That was cute. I feel like she just didn't do as much, but I think the first 3 or so villains in Happiness Charge did the least, and then all the more interesting Happiness Charge villains were the ones that we see later down the line. But I think of the first 3, she was the most appealing to me, because I think there's a really good one where she fights Kier Honey, if I remember correctly. I don't think she should become a Cure, which I'm glad she didn't. She's perfect as she is, and people just want everyone to be a Cure. Sometimes I do want everyone to be a Cure. I don't mind her, I guess in hindsight, like, I'm fine with her not being a Cure, but I wish she was in the show in the way that, like, Regina was part of that era where if you're not a Cure, you're basically never remembered. They did that too with Seiji as well, in Happiness Charge, but nowadays, like, people remember characters like Satoru. He gets included in, like, the movie, even if it's a small cameo. Her song is so iconic. Yes, she had a good song. I only remember Hoshiwa because she was the one episode where she tried to sing, rather. I do remember that episode pretty vividly. Leo, I see you, and Hanamaru's song, didn't expect that. Also, Why Know Why made an interesting video about Glitter Forest that I recommend. Oh, I'll check it out later. I don't know if I knew who that is, but always glad to check more people out. Mirage. I loved her. She has, like, when you look at it on paper for her story, probably has one of the most tragic stories in the franchise. Like, I do not blame her. Also, I think her fight with, Lovely was one of my favorite fights in the franchise as well. And, like, her very evilly sitting on the boat on the water after, like, Lovely's passed out. Like, that went kind of hard. The framing for those shots was really good. I love Queen Mirage. I think she's one of my favorite villains. I have a lot in my favorite villain category, but I think they did such a good job with her, and her backstory, without going into spoilers, was incredibly good. People ask, I hate Seiji. He's boring and so useless. So many hot takes. Mirage deserved better. She did. But I'd be honest, if I was a Cure and, like, the guy I had a crush on was like, hey, become a Cure, and you're like, okay. And he, like, manipulated your feelings, and you guys were getting close, and he's like, JK, I can't be in love with you because you're a Cure and I'm a god. I'd turn evil too. Bro, she got led on. And she had to become a magical girl. Like, if this was a dark magical girl series, she would have been the protagonist. Let's be real. Screw Blue, he doesn't deserve it. It's so true. He was so disrespectful to her. I love Queen Mirage with every fiber of my being. Oh my god, we have to, like, go through so many characters to get to the next villain. We got Despair. She goes in Health Bar. She was underwhelming, but that's because she ended up not being the final boss. She just, like, was kind of evil, but then she wasn't even that evil because somebody was eviler than her. I feel like she's one of those villains that's evil for evil's sake, but I feel like she's so empty. Like, at least Northa is, like, evil for evil's sake, but I don't know, it has flavor. Despair does nothing. She's just there and she's like, I'm evil, and I turn people evil, but there's not much to me. She's whatever. Alright. We're gonna get into an area where I don't remember some of these people. I'm seeing characters I don't recognize at all. Oh, I know why I don't recognize them. It's because it's Mahoutsukai, and the Mahoutsukai villains are very unmemorable. I don't remember her! Dude, I just remember Mahoutsukai has some of the worst villains in the franchise, so I don't remember her name. I don't remember what she did. She probably sucked. I remember nothing. I remember nothing of the Mahoutsukai villains. Close doesn't know when he should surrender. Fox. Despair was cool, but I like her less than Stark. I love her, though, because I have to love everyone from GoPre. I would be a traitor if I didn't. I like that we're sticking to our morals. We just gotta stick to what we believe in. Northa is definitely one of the best villain, our best evil, because I'm an evil type of villain. Not even the spider lady. I don't remember her. I don't know who this is. I don't know who that is. I like Sparta and Orba, but other than that, I sleep. Real. Valid. I'm like looking at these guys and I'm like, new phone, who dis? I don't know who any of y'all are. This is the guy from Mirai Days, right? And the other entity from Mirai Days. But I'm like, there's the part where your like brain just goes, I think Mahotsukai also was a tough season for me because I think that's when I was transitioning to going into college. So I watched, it was harder to watch it. I was finishing high school, I was moving to college. There's a lot going on in my life at that period. Nova's to you right now. Who are you people? Somebody get the SpongeBob meme. I don't know who any of these guys are. But who I do know is Beebody. Beebody's also going in Wedding Cake. I love Beebody dude, I didn't expect her to be so good, because I thought she was just gonna be like, we have a cute goth lolly design, who's just there. I thought she was gonna be nothing. But her character in the second half, and her being like this low-key redeemed villain, was so much. So, Beebody's great. Sparta was the best from Maho, which doesn't mean much. Ooh! Ooh, I'm so glad that we like the villains from this season, though. Because that was my one fear with Mahotsukai, writer, working on Star Detective. I was like, are the villains gonna be useless? But the villains are actually fantastic so far, so, you know, we've had a redemption arc. Beebody is one of the best. Beebody is so good. I love Beebody. Her and CL and their interactions in the second half of the show were so... I was like, I didn't expect this to cook. Because I didn't know how I was going to feel about CL because she kind of just felt like one too many characters. But I feel like CL's interactions with Beebody really enhanced her character, in my opinion. I was 14, 15 when Mahotsu came out. God, I'm... Mood. Alright. Who else? Oh! Poppy Doo also goes up here. Half of the reason why I like Poppy Doo, to be completely honest, is when Leo gushes over Poppy Doo. Also, was Lulu not on here? I literally put Lulu in my thumbnail, and I didn't realize she's not on this list. Lulu also would be Wedding Cake tier, by the way. I guess we skipped some of them because they also didn't have Seiren. But yeah, any of the, like, Seiren, Ace, all of them would, yes, not Ace, the Cure, but Cure Passion. All of them would be Wedding Cake tier, by the way. Very disrespectful that I didn't let me vote on Lulu, because Lulu was a really incredible villain. But Poppy Doo was fun because, like, I didn't think that she would come back from toasting Lulu. Turn Lulu into a dysfunctional toaster. But Poppy Doo is... they did a really good job with her character. They pulled punches I did not expect with her story. I really liked her. Also, her becoming, like, this entrepreneur and, like, having this business that she runs was such a funny way to take her character in the Redemption era that, I loved her. Her, specifically the episode where she got redeemed, which guest starred Cure Black and Cure White, but specifically with Mashudi and Amor. I love how they, like, pulled her out of the evil. It was so good. So good. She's the queen, she's the diva, she's the superstar, she's great. But also, this is one of those moments where a content creator can really affect how you feel about stuff, because Leo being so happy with her and gushing over her made me appreciate her more. I think just seeing him so unapologetically love a villain makes it more fun. Da 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 da. I have returned. Where is my goat hat on the list, or is he not on there? We're doing girls. We're not doing the guys. This has been a request to do specifically the female villains. So the guy is in the sea of not being acknowledged at the moment. Miss Runny Nose deserves to be hired. Which one's that? Which one are we referring to? Who had a runny nose? What am I not remembering? If it's any of these guys, forget it. Who had a runny nose joke? Was it Majorino? Who's too low? Oopla, don't worry, we'll get there. We're here to spread the Poppy-Doo love. Give her love. Give her fandom. Like, it really just takes, honestly, whenever somebody is unapologetically a fan of one specific character that nobody acknowledges, I do think it's really cute. It's kind of like a Pokemon moment. Well, that stinks. Both of my fave villains are guys. We'll do a guy list eventually. Oh, I realized we skipped somebody. I think this one a girl. Oh, wait. I just realized we skipped one. Where did I go? There she is. You'll never believe where I put her. I need to watch Mahotsukai. I think I plan on watching Mahotsukai again in the fall. What was this? This is Jelos, right? Is she Jelos or one of her dudes named Jelos? Jelos, I think, was just like discount Poppy-Doo. That's my hot take. Dude. Oh, it's the mushroom lady. Ooh. Ooh, I'm so sorry. She is forgotten. Oh no, the snow villain from Splash. We need a snow villain. Rip to the male villains not in the ranking video, yeah. All of the guys found dead in a ditch. We'll bring them back. We'll bring them back. It was something Saki called her and I need to rewatch Splash Star Robot. Dude, this is what happens when it's over 20 years. We're not to Kaizurin yet. We're not to Kaizurin yet. We have not. We're still in Hugato land. Where I ranked Jealous, and I think she was the only one. Do we count you? Whose name eludes me? Do we count you? Because aren't you... You're like... This is a gender-neutral villain-ish. I'm trying to remember what we ended up doing with you. Wait, that fits too well with my profile picture. I hate Jello. She's Poppy-Doo but boring and ugly, and she played a part in breaking her heart with George. I hate her. That pretty much sums it up. What was your name? You were the furry. Oh, what was your name? Begin with like a B. Hugato, Precure, villains. Oh god, you had like a name that was like reminded me of like I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I have any clue what your name was. Also, does anybody else ever like go to the wiki and it like crashes your computer? My computer immediately stops loading the second I try to load in. It's very rude. Was it B? How do we pronounce this? How did it want this to be pronounced? Oh my god, the advertisement, go away. Was it Bichine or was it just Bichin? I guess it's Bichin because it ends with an N. Bichin, the girl, was that what we called you? I guess they went with he, him for the wiki, so we're gonna stick with that. You'll stay here and banished until we come back to you. Bichin, that sounds better. It's the guy that has Bicine in the wiki, which I guess is the preferred spelling. It's all Italian. I haven't seen Hugato yet, that's fair. I have not had that happen to me before. I probably need to put up the security on it a little bit more. Every time I go into it, like, my computer's like, whoa, why did you try to load the wiki? And I was like, I don't know, but it doesn't like the text. Rubbing my hands together like an evil villain ready to slander. Oh, that's right, you're a big anti-Chukine person. Oh my goodness. Bichin. That sounds more right. Oh my god. You stay down there. Our Tengu. Was she just called Tengu? I'm gonna feel... Leia's gonna roast me if I don't remember. Is it just Tengu? No. There's another villain named Tengu. What was our Tengu villain? Oh, I'm gonna lose it. I love her, but I don't remember her name. Ah! Tenjo. Tenjo. One letter off. We'll take it. We'll take it. Rip to the Italian dub for Sweet. How did I know Sweet had an Italian dub? Dokuraku. Tenjo. Tenjo the Tengu. I do like her a lot. Do I put her in Wedding Cake? Don't. I just love her plot with Soleil. She had such a good story. It was so good. And her, like, the plot twist about her features and how she's discriminated in her nation was so good. She had a really good story. Like, all the Star Twinkle villains popped off with the writing, which, to be fair, I guess, like, you know, again, our writer redeems himself in, Star Twinkle with the villains. They're so good. All the villains ended up being so good in Star Twinkle. I almost said Star Detective. This live could be summed as watch me struggle to remember Precure villains the whole live. It is, but we're getting to a point where I'm actually remembering their names. Like, I know this is Iwan. Because she's an I. Iwan, I think, is good. I don't think I liked her as much as Tenjo. But she also had a very interesting plotline. I still think she was more in the wrong than, Cosmo was. Like, her hatred towards Cosmo, I feel like, is slightly invalid when she's responsible for basically mass genociding Cosmo's entire people. Oh my god, that's my hot take. Is that Iwan was a little too like, you're a little too upset about somebody lying to you when that someone was somebody who you extinctified her people. But other than that, I do like that the two recover and befriend each other. And they have, like, a kind of a little low-key partnership. They had an interesting dynamic. I think they had really good writing and creative writing with that. I guess, technically speaking, now that I think about it, Cosmo was, like, technically speaking, a little bit on the villain side in Star Twinkle with her, running around as the butler. Not that she was a double agent in that case, but I mean, maybe this is where we're getting the Arcana Shadow energy. The writing, I will say, I think the writing for this dude and villains got significantly better. We definitely improved from the very forgettable characters from this guy. The Star Twinkle villains were incredible indeed. Tenjo's story was everything. It's good. Sweet was about to get an Italian dub, but then Sabon came in and canceled it. I didn't realize that Sabon got more reach outside the US. I don't remember anyone from Star Twinkle. It was so forgettable! Like, who are you? I love that we're, like, the opposite. Do you remember the villain who we thought was Talking Wolf, but in the end turned out to be we'll get to him when we do the boys one. Also, if I not said hi to you, welcome in, Ryan Carlos. How are you today? Iwan would be the same level as Belle for me, TBH. Ooh, interesting. I like the sassy. Okay. Must I elaborate, though? Must I elaborate, or do you all not agree with me? She is everything I wanted in a final... Like, she's kind of what I want our main villain to be, which, now that I think about it, same composer, absolutely could still be this way. Her being Dark Nest initially, being this big, intimidating, potential guy... and the reason why I haven't said her name is because I'm gonna butcher how to say it. It's one of those names I've never read out loud. Ophiuchus? Ophiuchus? It's something that feels a little Greek. Cause she's based off the zodiacs and stuff. But, like, her being Dark Nest, and then turning out to be this, like, the hot, evil princess who was like, those other princesses suck. Like, she went so hard, and she didn't have, like, again, she didn't have much screen time. And I'm so fine with that. Because I think her twist was great. I think had the appropriate amount of lore, and I'm telling you, if our villain doesn't turn out to be like this at the end of the season, I don't want it. Ophiuchus. That would be, because C-H-U-S makes a cuss sound in Greek. That makes sense. I get so much... I wish I was phonetically better at other languages. Like, my op is sometimes Greek and Chinese. Because they don't be spelling those words the way they're pronounced, and it makes my life hard. The villain was correct the whole time. I know. She was such a good plot twist. I need this. I need this to be something along, whoops. Something to be along the lines of what they end up doing at the end of Star Detective. I need, not, obviously I don't want one for the one, but I need a plot twist this good at the conclusion. Because again, we had whatever the heck happened in Mahotsukai, but this is a tremendous improvement. Latin, not Greek. Is it? No, I'm pretty sure it would be Greek. I do know that, because the cuss is usually, that's Greek. Because you have, like, Bacchus. I believe that is a Greek thing. I don't think that's the Latin pronunciation, because the Latin one would be different. Pronouncing Japanese are hard. I think I've spent enough time that I can handle Japanese better, unless it's a Japanese name trying to pronounce a not Japanese word. Then you've lost me. Do you remember Hodoguru Sky Precure? We all expected the villain to be a woman, but it was but in fact the villain is a snake. He was something. Mystique's roll card is hard for me to say. Kasaneta, Sweetie, de Egao ni jump. Yeah, some of them can be tricky. I think I've had enough time with some Japanese words, because I remember the first time I saw, like, kakagurui, I was like, how the heck do you pronounce that? There's just, like, one extra syllable than it needs to be, but then you just kind of, like, get it eventually. Like, I think I've spent enough time with, like, things like Japanese, and then I do know a little bit of Latin, because I took Latin for several years. But I did not take Greek, and Greek has opposite pronunciations to Latin. Bacchus was the Roman, Latin, Dionysus was the Greek. There was, I'm telling you, this one, though, I believe is going to be based off of it. Because there's all the Greek ones. Because it's all the dudes. I'll ask my friend afterwards. He'll clarify for me on that one. Because I think, it all stemmed from it, because it went from Hellenistic to the Roman era. I'll fight on it later. Do we rank Shidoine? I don't think we've gotten to Shidoine yet, have we? I think we're not there yet. We're still going, we're going through, well, I guess we're at that now. Okay. I think this season, I will say, I think Healing Good had the hardest time pronouncing the names. I think this one was rough for me. All of the ones had very annoying names, if I remember. I'm gonna look up all of them. All the Healing Good names were rough. Healing Good villains. Like, Dudaisen sucks. I hated pronouncing Dudaisen. It sounds like it has one extra syllable that it doesn't need. Byogen's already is, like, that word's not fun either. Doraisen, Shidoine, again, like that, it's the I before the ne that I'm like, doesn't need to be there. If it was Shidone, it'd be easier, but Shidoine is like, the extra syllable. And then Guai, and then Waru is another one that does not pair well. Guairu. It just sounds like you're putting so many, you're putting so many vowels next to each other. And then Bat Teta Moda, where again, if it was Bat Pate Moda would make sense, but it's Bat Tete Moda. And then there's Batamonda. Hate that. Hate those names. And then there's just King Byogen. I think the worst names were Healing Good. Shidoina did everything wrong. She's annoying. She's one-dimensional, no personality. I feel like they did better with that whole stereotype in Wonderful Precure. I think Zakuro is a better version of what they tried to do with Shidoine. But we'll get to that. Shidoine, I think, was just very one-note. She's, like, in love with this guy who just, like, King Byogen didn't have a personality, so it felt very nothing. And then they tried to pretend that she was redeemable to some degree, where they had her soul, compared to the other ones, live inside Cure Earth, which I was very confused as what we were doing there. I didn't understand that one bit. I was like, is her being in love making her, like, a monogram more redeemable than all the other villains? I'm like, why? Just kill her off. I don't feel like her being in love with a wall was really fixing anything about her or making her any more redeemable. I like Shidoine, but not love. Fair enough. In Hodoguru Sky, Precure, the villain is a praying mantis, pig, another pig, and finally a snake. Honestly. It's true. Healing Good I did love the opening for it. A lot better than Tropical Rouge villains. I low-key don't remember all of them whatsoever. I thought it was pronounced Biojin until I heard it watching a few episodes. Yeah, the pronunciations were so all over the place. When I stumbled back into the stream after listening for a bit, I see Orson at Tux. Oh, yeah, we'll get to him. Well, we won't get to him. He's a guy. No men allowed on this tier list. Welcome in, Ben. How are you today? King Byogen was so hot, though. So Leo, you are so surface level with romance. Banned. Leo and I have never had more opposite opinions on romance. If Dodaizen dies, we all do. What are we up to? We are doing a female villainess requested by Anthony from the channel. Which Precure villain would be friends with the Tricks from Wings Club? Ooh. I wonder if there's anybody who's mean enough to be friends with them. It really, like, Northa is the only one I can think who would be hardcore enough to actually befriend them. The rest of them would have their feelings hurt. I don't think any of them are confident enough to handle the Tricks. They would say one insult and all these villains would melt. Or just not care. In Tropical Rouge Precure, a cooking version of Mr. Krabs, a female version of Gary the Snail, and a doctor, a bratty shrimp, who worked for the final villainous seahorse. Okay, but listen, post-Tropical Rouge, we're at the top tier. We are. No, I thought it was Biogen. Oh. But that would have made it Biogen actually the word. Not been a great week. Oh no, my granddad passed away on Wednesday from lung cancer. I'm so sorry, Ben. May he rest in peace. I want to reach through the screen and choke slam Gino. There's so much passionate hatred. Alright, Tropical Rouge. I know what their animal names are, but I'm going to have to look up what their actual names were. I'm so sorry, I forgot. I know all of them are puns on their sea creatures, which is not helpful. Okay. Numeri, she was fine. She ended up being Team Mom. I liked Numeri. She's very similar to Marmon, where she ended up being Team Mom. But she's like more Team Mom than her, so I might bring you down one. Because you were Team Mom kind of the whole time. Yeah, Byogen is the Japanese word for illness, which is fair. I thought Nimuri was a sea slug early on. She got mild sea sluggery. A little sea cucumbery. And then I just know it's like, it's Ebby and it's Elda. Because she's shrimp. Elda's cute. I feel like she could do more, but she existed. And it was a fun villain. I feel like having like the kid villain is always kind of a funny bit. They don't do it very often. But having like a little sassy child be the villain, I think is funny. She was important in that one episode where they like had the doll in the haunted house with Kier Summer, right? If I'm remembering that correctly. I think that plotline with her was probably the cutest. Numity is 10 out of 10. I adore her design. I feel like she could have given us more, but her whole thing was being kind of a sloth-esque character. I could beat Shot, but I wouldn't. Oh my goodness. Oh, from the which villain would you take in a fight? Shidoini does have some of the funniest lines, though. She had a good handful of reaction images from her. Totally forgot. Are we doing males next week? If I can get through this, which I think we will. I think I can manage to get through this and then get my errands done. Don't lay a finger on my shut. The Tropical Rouge villains for me are where Lady Despair would be on my list. I'm so sorry. Fair enough. I do love the Witch of Delays, though. The Witch of the Delays, I love her. Her little doomed Yuri story really hit, where she's like, man, I fell so hard that I decided to be less evil. I think it's one of my favorite random plot twists. Same with the villain for the pseudo-villain in the Idol movie. Very similarly. They're like, we made it doomed Yuri, and I was like, you sold me. Doomed Yuri will absolutely make me rank you higher. That's the way to win my heart. I'm just not someone who vibes with Tropical Rouge. That's very valid. What if Hikari Kujo was a final villain in Futariwa Max Heart instead of Dark King? Hikari Kujo growth to planet size from the end of the series. That'd be interesting. I don't know, I'd have to think. That's kind of a cool pitch. Elda was so cute every time she got attacked to be funny. She had very much like Team Rocket vibes. The worst part of being Shidomi and a Chogine hater is they're hot. I'm a little weird from Precure. She's such a nothing big bag F tier. Oh, big thing from Ben. Hot take. Witch of Delays was great too. I loved her story. She was nothing for most of the show. But to be fair, that was part of her character, was that she was too lazy to be evil. Because girl had such a, like, love moment, like 100 or so years ago prior. I can't remember if this was one of those series where it's like the legendary cure was 1,000 years ago, or if she was 100 years ago. I don't remember. Probably 1,000. And she met one girl and changed her ways, and she was so brokenhearted. Like, she was in depression. That's me. When I'm depressed, she's like, I'll bed rot for 1,000 years and do nothing. And that's really valid of her. If my girlfriend died due to old age, I too would do this. Doomed Yuri points, right? Okay, but we did get pink Doom Yuri later. And yes, 5, the villain's a praying mantis, a spider, a frog, a chicken, a bat, and finally a witch and a chameleon. We do love our whole EIEIO group. God, if we had Hikari as the final villain, that would have been wild. If she ended up being evil, we had an evil queen who got turned evil or something, that would have gone hard. That would have been emotional. Which evolutions would the Precure villains have? Oh god, that would take way too long to go through. I'd have to think on that one. Delicious party, bad guy. Secret Toru? You're kind of whatever. You could have done more. Oh no. Oh no. Now we have a peak villain as oh no. Oh no. Halt. Welcome in, Halt. How are you? Secret Toru, my freaking beloved. Oh no. Oh no. Trace, don't kill me. If it makes you feel any better, my girl princess villain was put in health bar. Sikadu is fun. I just don't remember much about Sikadu. I remember she was upset because she felt like she was manipulated. Oh, T, you bring me. We even got a B tier from Ben. Oh no. Oh no. I'm gonna go hide in the other characters. Oh man, we just don't have women for a while. Oh my goodness. Kaizunin. There's another doomed Yuri character. Oh, the villain. Yeah, we're doing the Villainess tier list. What would the perfect Pokemon for all the villain? Oh god. Ryan, that I'll have to sit down and really think about that. That is going to really test my limits. Kaiserine, under Empress, fantastic character. She may have only been here for 10 episodes out of the near 50 run episode run. But she's shown very brightly, like, I think these two are the queens of being here for not a long time, but they were here for a good time. Where I'll put these two. I loved her. The one who suffered the most. She suffered. Oh my god. Where was... So, for some reason, they don't have the, They didn't do the girls who were evil and then turned into cures. I'm kind of sad they're not on the list. Amane, I think, as a villain, as Jintoru, would probably be Brownie. I think she's one of the ones who ranks lower in terms of our characters who were villains, just because her character had less of, like... I feel like the characters who have more louder personalities do better as villains. And she ended up being kind of soft as both Jintoru and as normal Amane. But, like, it's not that that's a problem with her character, because I think her character is fine for who she is. She just doesn't make a great bad guy. Whereas, like, Seiden had a very loud personality, so she did a really good job at being Seiden, and then she did a really good job at being Ellen. And I liked that. Twilight is an interesting one, because Twilight I think I liked more than Toa, because Toa was ironically very soft personality once she joined the crew, but she had so much aura as Twilight. Dark Precure 5 I would have up here in Wedding Cake, because Dark Precure 5 I think just was phenomenally interesting as villains. Because they weren't just evil, they had their own personalities and, like, had their own will to live, and I think that made that far more tragic. How many female villains compared to the male? A lot less. That's what I've learned today, is I thought there were a lot more, there's a lot less. To be fair, most of, like, I think we're still in the range where the new phone who dis is outranking every other category in numbers. There's so many I don't know. C tier, she hardly did anything in the series. We didn't learn anything near the end. Fair. How about Is? So she's another one that's interesting, because I feel like we got a lot less from Passion, but she would be a Wedding Cake villain. I think her personality as Is was so good. She was so, like, her integrating into the team and befriending Love, and then having that betrayal fight in the forest made my... Like, I think that is one of the biggest anime scenes that hits me, is the two of them fighting, and then, like, they're passed out on the ground at the end, exhausted from fighting each other. That, like... And it's raining. That one hit. I was gonna be pissed if Kaiserine wasn't Wedding Cake. Kaiserine's great. I like Kaiserine. Dark is over here. This is one of the only dark teams that made it onto the board. Is the Bad End Precure. Was Brownie. Alright, who else do we have? We're really coming down. Where she belongs. Where she belongs. Well, like I said before, she is a much better version of what Shidoine was supposed to be. At the end of the day, I like Zakuro a lot better. I think, like, Shidoine is discount Zakuro. She's a character who genuinely liked the villain, but it made more sense for her to actually like him. Whether, like, instead of Shidoine, who was just, like, King Byogen, was, like, just this hot, evil villain who doesn't have a personality and most of the time doesn't have a body at all. She's like, I love him, I'm a loyalist, it's whatever. But Zakuri was like, I love this guy, and I have a sad TM backstory to explain it. And then when he was, like, mad evil and not paying attention to everybody and so consumed by his hatred, she's like, he's not the way he used to be. And I was like, so there's more here. So he actually has a personality underneath all that evil. And they had a really good love story, and it made me happy. We need more we need more female villains to balance it out, man. Equal opportunity evil. Okay, so then I will have to just speak on the last ones that are not here. Specifically, we have Chokiine. Chokiine... No Kiro hates Chokiine. Chokiine, I think, was just okay. Brownie. I think she really plateaued Oh, oh, I guess I didn't notice them because I was busy. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. Off topic. What is the name of the song you're currently playing? I am doing a playlist of Lily Pichu's instrumental versions of her songs. The one playing right now is When the Last Flower Blooms, and the previous one before this was Star Smitten. But yeah, Lily Pichu makes incredibly lovely music. I highly recommend her. She's a wonderful content creator. And she is very kind with her music. But yeah, this is a whole playlist of her songs in like lo-fi piano form. I'll put that in the chats. Chokine is a C. Chokine, like, I feel like she would be like, yeah, brownie-ish for me. Because I think she is interesting. I think having this, like, insufferable boss was a fun role as a character. But because she didn't get redeemed, she really plateaued for a while, where every episode was like, I don't want to work anymore. And the next episode would be like, I kind of don't want to work anymore. I'm gonna get, like, Darkine is gonna kill me. And she did that for, like, 5 episodes in a row. And I was like, okay, Darkine, you're very boring. You should have gotten redeemed sooner. Jogine is F. She's so bad and insufferable. My most hated character. I know that you hate her, but, like, you gotta be specific. What did you hate about her very specifically? I do feel like that everybody left Chokine and had no one to banter with, and her character development didn't go anywhere. Yeah, like, once Jogi was gone, it was like, they just kept dragging her out. And I was like, at least when she had Jogi around, there were some funny moments where she had been mean to the guys before, but now Jogi was mean to her, so you kind of got, like, the reverse for that. But then it was just, when it was just Chokine, I was like, for the love of God, please just redeem her already. Let it be a Kyun redemption and call it a day. And then Darkine is God. She's in health bar. Darkine didn't do anything. My favorite UN idol is Cuddy. I agree. I like Cuddy a lot. He is easily my favorite villain from that season. But even then, that's not high praise, because I don't think the villains were fantastic for Idol. But, Darkine would be health bar. She didn't do anything. She just sat, and then she stood up, and then she turned into a fairy. And I think the best part was just her being a fairy. She was cuter as a fairy. I don't know why I keep scrolling down. Okay, the only other, well, we have 2 female villains-ish now. So first initial thoughts on them was Age-sen I like. I think she's going to be fun. I'm happy with her. Age-sen, as it stands, is going to float in Brownie, and we'll see what happens to her. So far, she's got a lot of personality, and I like that. Already in Wedding Cake is Miss Arcana Shadow. She's done nothing but eat ice cream, but I love her already. Now, that could very much go up and down. This is not a solid list. Things can change. Like, for example, if I actually rewatch these shows and know who these villains are down here, they could make it back. They could come back. But they sure are not coming back right now. They're sitting down here in my amnesia. That's what I was gonna name this. I had my name. Amnesia, the Dark Descent. That's what I was gonna name it. This is my amnesia category, because I don't remember who any of y'all are. That was my joke. Thank you for coming. I hate Chogine because her character development came out of nowhere. We've only seen her treating Cuddy and Sakura like dog water, and then suddenly at the end she's an amazing person. Yeah, that was weird. Now, which Sailor Moon villains would be friends with Precure villains? Oh. I feel like these are, like, constituting whole new streams with some of these questions. Like, if I did a Pokemon one or something, I'd have to do a whole different stream, because I'd be yapping forever. I also have to remember some of the Sailor Moon villains, because unless they were, like, really iconic villains, they're very forgotten. I think the later Sailor Moon villains are a little bit more memorable than the early ones. Like, I'll remember characters like Iron Mouse and stuff, but... Season 1, I don't remember any of them. All that much. The thing that I don't get about Cuddy and Zakari is that they're like, I hate Chokine, screw her, but also Chokine nice. Do you hate her or not? I like it. That I didn't like that writing. I didn't like the writing that they sat there and they're like, she's a terrible, abusive boss, but she's nice to us once in a blue moon. And I'm like, I don't like that. That's the one thing that sucks for it being a real world thing that they're alluding to, because like if the boss like Chokine sucks like that, then she just sucks full on, you know? Like some of it was comedic and some of it was because they were being lazy. But there were some times where it's like she genuinely behaves the way a bad boss, and that is an HR complaint. that is an HR complaint. So I think that's valid there. But I think they could have brought it back if they didn't handle it that way. But I think they, again, smushed it too much at the end. Kaito knows he back became a cure and hold the monsters off while the other 5 go fight Darkine, right? He didn't become a cure again at the end of the series, but he did stand up for them and got the people to cheer for them, which needed to fuel their power for that final fight. Like, I feel like next episode, after Kokoro episode, Chokine should have gotten nuked, yeah. I think during Kokoro's final arc, they should have taken care of Chokine and just Darkine do everything for the rest of it. Chokine should have died! I'm being so for real. Oh my god. I understand, but don't get too harsh, Inktrap. We gotta hold back. T, I don't even have to tell you about Darkine, because that is all I have to say! Stop. That's so intense. That's so harsh. Scarehead should have apologized. I'm not familiar with your game. Stop, that's hilarious. What if you and Idol Precure final episode, what is the size of the cures compared to the fairy form of the final villain? I don't know, we'll see how big the villain ends up being by the end of the series. Because sometimes they get down and do like a smaller villain. Because Darkine ended up being more human-sized rather than having a kind of colossus attempt. They treat Chokine's abuse like it was funny, it was so gross. Yeah, I don't like that. But I'm very salty about series, especially from Japan, that try to like talk about like work-life balance and work culture. Like I am impressed that I finished Agretsuko, because there were so many times where her absolutely abysmal boss was like went off scot-free and they act like he was redeemed. And I was like, no, he was an HR violation like 10 times over and deserved to get fired and should have lost his job forever. Should never have come back to the company. But that is a whole other rant. Exactly what I forget he became one. Let me calm down, I'm sick. Oh, I'm sorry, let's not get you too heated. Take it easy. We'll finish off on a note. We're talking about Age-sen and Arcana Shadow. What is the cure size compared to the fairy form of Darkine and Precure final episode? Oh, it's like Darkine is like the size of a head. One Uta head big. I guess just Puridu and Metadon sized. Picadine sized. I think Picadine was about the same size as everybody else. Vocaloid Kaito over Precure Kaito. Agreed. But yeah, I think that for now, Arcana Shadow here, Age-sen here. And we'll see if those move as it goes on. But I think that does it for our female villains. We didn't have many. We apparently have many more boys to go through. And don't worry, I forgot as many boys as I forgot girls. This whole line is mostly forgotten. I think I remember this guy. I remember this guy. I remember this guy. I remember this guy. And one of them was named Pissard. I don't remember the rest. Pretty Holic. I know I have Arcana as my profile again, but Age-sen, I love her this much. Aww. Alright, I think that will cover it for today. I gotta go run my errands. I think I only went 10 minutes over, which is fine. Thank you for joining me, guys. I will see you next Sunday with more Magical Girl news, and we will do the villain man list next week and figure out how I feel about all them and how many I don't remember. But until next time, bye!